If you enjoy using a tarp when out in the woods, then the concept of pegging your tarp out will be a phrase and a concept that you're very familiar with. But using the word pegging your tarp out usually indicates that you're going to use a peg of some sort to do that. And in actual fact, that's not always the case. There's often something at your fingertips or your toe tips that is far more readily available, and in my opinion, a far quicker and better option to use. There's one right there. If you want to maximise your outdoors time by improving your bushcraft and outdoor skills, then hit that subscribe button, click on notifications and keep watching. Cheers. Tent pegs, whether we're talking cheap or expensive, lightweight or heavy, man-made or something that you manufacture when you get out into the woods, have several things in common. You need to buy them, and/or you need to carry them, and/or you need to spend time fashioning them once you get out into the woods. Now, I am not decrying the value of carrying tent pegs and/or knowing how to fashion them when you get out into the woods, not by any stretch of the imagination, because the tip I'm giving you in this video won't always be possible, but it will be possible a damn sight more often than you might imagine. And the tip I want to give you is to think not about using tent pegs, regardless of where they've come from, but actually using tree roots as your tent pegs. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about tree roots that are underneath the surface of the ground that you would have to dig to get to it. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the type of tree roots that you see that have broken the surface of the ground, that run along the surface of the ground and then probably go back into the ground again. Those natural kind of ridges, those natural securing points in the ground that many tree species naturally put out. That's what I'm talking about. You'll find a damn sight more of those if you look around than you might first imagine. We know the types I'm talking about. They're the ones that usually trip you up when you're not expecting them, because even very small, very quite delicate tree roots can actually be incredibly strong, which is why they're great for tent pegs. So once you've got your ridge line up, once that's nice and taut and secure, and you're starting to move out from the corners of your tarp to peg it down to the ground, instead of looking to your tent pegs, wherever they've come from, have a look at the ground. Look for those roots that perhaps have left the ground. Sometimes they're visible and you may just need to scrape a little bit of dirt or earth from underneath them with a twig or your fingertip so that you've got a channel to run that cordage through. And then of course, once you've got each of those cordages in place, you can tighten them up with whatever knot and technique that you want. But the key thing here is that you've not had to rely on anything that you've brought with you, and you've not spent time fashioning anything, because you've used the natural roots that are occurring in or just above the ground. And of course, this principle can be extended way beyond just the roots themselves. You can start to look for things like, if I need to peg my tarp out, why peg it to the ground if there's some perfectly positioned trees where I would peg them to? I'll just tie them off around there. Maybe there's some stumps in the ground that you can tie it around. Maybe a tree has fallen over and he's no longer a tree, but he's no longer a root. Maybe you could tie out to that. So the next time you take your tarp out into the woods, by all means, take some tent pegs with you. By all means, take the skill set with you that allows you to fashion them from scratch with what you find around you. But before you reach into your bag to use them, just run out that ridge line, run out each of those guy lines, and just look on and around the ground for anything that is sturdy, that is naturally occurring, that is already there, and try experimenting with using the same knot, same technique that you would use with a tent peg, but use it around that root or that stump or that fallen tree or that standing tree. Just think a little bit differently. You'll be surprised how much more quickly you can get your tarp up, because there's one less piece of the jigsaw puzzle needing to fall into place, because it's already there. Do you do this already? Do you naturally look for something naturally occurring before you reach for your tent pegs? Or is this concept of using roots, etc., a completely new concept for you? Let me know in the comments below. It'd be really interesting to see what you do to replicate or replace using tent pegs, whether they're man-made or natural. Drop your comments below. Also pay attention to my channel very shortly, because we are fast approaching, not as fast as I'd like, but we are fast approaching 5,000 subscribers. And we know what happens every time I hit 1,000 subscribers. I usually do a giveaway, and that giveaway is usually based on a randomly selected comment from the previous few videos. If you want to be in with a chance with winning whatever it is I'm going to dream up this time around, make sure that you're commenting on the next few videos, all the way up to 5,000. Stay safe, folks. I'll see you in the woods very soon. Look after yourself. Cheers.